Welcome to teacherswebhost.com. Today's lesson is in how to create a reading comprehension assessment. Begin by logging in as a teacher. It's easiest to log in using your Google sign-in. Go to the classroom where you want to create the assessment. Click on Add Element. Click on Reading Comprehension Assessment. Here is the first of a series of controls. Where do you want this assessment to appear in the playlist for students? Do you have a time limit that you want to set for this test? If you set a time limit, it will automatically submit after a certain number of minutes. Do you want to alter the maximum score on the test? And do you wish to be notified by email when the activity is used? It's a good idea to give the title some careful consideration. It's not something that can be edited later, and it's a good way to keep track of what you're assessing. I'm going to go here now to my downloaded copy of the 2005 Grade 3 English Language Arts test for New York State. And I'm going to just create an assessment using the same one. So from the PDF file, I'm going to copy the title and paste it right in here. It is not too difficult to separate out pages of a PDF, and that is a separate tutorial not included here, but I've already taken the liberty of taking out these two pages from the larger PDF file. So to upload the PDF for the assessment, click on the button to do that. Click on Choose File. Find the file that you would like to upload. Here it is. Click the Upload button and wait till it's complete. And when it is, it will appear here in the title field. It is also an option to upload an audio clip to go with an assessment. This can be used to create listening assessments that don't have a reading component, or it can be used to create a component that reads to the student. I created this reading just some moments ago. I read into a program called Audacity, and I recorded myself reading this file. Under normal circumstances, I suppose one wouldn't read a reading test to a student, but there are times when this assessment could be used for other purposes, where reading something to the student would be appropriate. And so for that reason, this functionality has been added in. It only takes a little while to upload a 2 MB file, and as you see, just like with the case of the PDF, the title appears here. Click on Next Step. In the next step, you'll notice some buttons over here and fields on the left. This is where you enter questions. At the moment, there's a limit on only entering up to 10 questions. You'll notice at the top here, it's possible to play the audio, and you'll notice here that the PDF file that you attached appears. Now all there is to do is to type in or paste in the questions and the options. I'm going to shrink the page, and you'll notice that when it gets to a certain size, it responds by changing to something that's a little easier to see. So I'm going back to the test in the background, you see, and my first question says, in the passage, well, I'm going to make this a little smaller so that I can see it side by side. It says, in the passage, Mr. Major tells Bill, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to just copy this and paste it into the question. I'm going to alter the format as necessary. I'm going to pause the video while I enter these so you don't have to watch me copy and paste and type. What I will point out is this. In this field, one enters the letter or letters of the correct answer. These can be separated by spaces or by commas or by semicolons or no separators at all. They can be uppercase or lowercase. The computer will take care of formatting that once it is sent in. You'll notice here that I have now copied and pasted in each of the possible answers. I've entered the correct answer, And here I've entered the performance indicator. If you go to the state website, you can see where this information is already provided on the test. This will be very useful for analyzing student results later. I merely went to the test, I found the performance indicator for the question based on the standards, and then I pasted it in here. And then it's standard 2. When it's time for me to add another question, I just click this button, add another question, and continue copying and pasting in or typing in the questions and the answers. I have now completed pasting in all of the questions along with the performance indicators and standards that are being measured and the correct answers. And I'm ready to go to the next step. Click Next Step. Now you'll see the usual save ordered elements that happens whenever you create an activity. I'm going to place this under a topic called Topic 1 and save, and I'm ready to go. When the student goes to take the test, it looks like this. You'll see here the questions are on the left, and the reading is here, and there's an opportunity to listen to audio here if it's activated. Once a student selects an answer, they need to click Close and Save Answer. And each of the questions has to be saved before there is the option to submit for a score. I'm just going to randomly hit some answers here. Students can also go down through and select all their answers first and then save them when they're sure of them. It's a way to really try to make students focus on reading and making a conscious decision to choose. You'll notice that once it's done, the I'm done submit for score appears and you hit the button. This is a standard form. The student has to agree to terms and they submit and they get a score instantly. For the teacher, it is possible to go back in later and to take a look at an analysis of the results of this assessment. I have already made a sample for this video from another test, and I'm going to go here to to Analyze Test. And here is the standard analysis page that shows you how your students did. You'll notice that in this assessment, question number 1 is highlighted in red. That's because fewer than half the class got that right. You'll notice that there is an item analysis showing how many students selected each answer, and the performance indicator and standard is listed. You can click to see which students got it right according to their username. On the top is the usual kind of statistical analysis given for a test, and here of particular interest are the summary tables. The performance indicator is shown along with the percentage of students who got that performance indicator right on all the questions that measure it, and the percentage of students who scored well on this particular standard. There's a lot of information here that can be used to assess student work, and this one reading task can be combined with others to create a view with a lot more data than simply one reading with 5 questions. There are a number of buttons here on the top which will be discussed in another video, and the last thing to mention here is that one has the option to edit one of these assessments, but once a student has taken the assessment, they can't be edited anymore. So what you need to do if you want to edit an assessment is clear all the student data, preferably save it. Clear all the student data so no student information is there, and then you can edit the assessment. And this is kind of built in to help protect the integrity of the assessments. So come back for other tutorials on how to print students' assessments, how to print the whole class assessment, and how to do an analysis of several assessments altogether.